Hey folks, and welcome to my first video on this Punchy Man Gaming channel. Now, I have been posting a lot of videos on my original YouTube channel, which was called just my name, Babit Singh. But that channel took a different trajectory altogether. And although I did want to do a lot of gaming videos, I found myself doing a lot of tech videos, and that too in my regional Hindi language. Now, this channel, I am dedicating this channel only to gaming videos in English. So just a quick introduction of my channel. I intend to put out game reviews, gameplay videos, and also reaction videos. And my very first video, I'm really excited about this because I'm actually talking about Baldur's Gate 3. And before I jump right into this game, I want to talk about the specifications that are required for this game. Just a quick one. While you can scroll through the settings here, I quickly wanted to talk about the settings that are required, or the minimum requirements if you're playing this. Now, you require 16 GB of RAM, you require an Intel i7 8700K or an AMD R5 3600, and you also need the RX 5700 XT or above with at least 8 GB of dedicated video RAM. And you also need 150 GB of available space. So that's just the minimum requirements, or the recommended requirements, I would say. The minimum requirements are much lower. You require at least 4 GB of video RAM, and you require 8 GB of RAM. That's the minimum requirements, and the recommended would be 16 GB and 8 GB of video RAM. Now, I am playing this on my Asus ROG Strix G15 Advantage Edition, so I could just crank up the settings to high or even ultra when it comes to the textures. Generally, when I play these games, to make sure I get decent amount of frame rates on any of these games, I'd like to keep the shadow details, the fog details down to either medium or low. That's probably the only thing that I change. And I also want to take advantage of AMD FSR 2.0 if it's available, but on this game, AMD FSR 2.0 is not available. So we're just going along with AMD FSR 1.0. As you can see, I have the AMD RX 6800M. That's what I'm playing with. And that's, I would say, a sizable amount of RAM that I've got in my graphics card. Now, I was trying to figure out, what the options in terms of the controller settings are, because I've never ever played a game with just the mouse and a keyboard. Now, I'm embarrassed to say that, putting so many gaming videos in the past, but I've never been a PC gamer. I've only been a console gamer. So this was a first for me. But I want to talk about this particular game in today's video. And also, this is special because this is my first ever turn-based RPG game that I am playing. I'm going to talk about why I did not play turn-based RPG games. So kindly stick around till the end of the video, and hopefully I'll get a chance to explain why I didn't. Now, just playing or toying around with a few settings. If you want to skip this, you can skip this section and just go over to the gameplay section of this video. But here's the thing. I was telling you about the turn-based RPG games. Now, I have always been a fan of action-adventure role-playing games. So action-adventure RPGs, more so the third-person types. So where you have a third-person camera. So I have been very fond of the AC franchisee, the Assassin's Creed games, God of War, Uncharted, Horizon. These are some of the titles that I really love playing. Action-adventure titles, that is. Also, these are titles which are story-based, which have a lot of narrative elements. Even Mass Effect was one of my favorite games from way back when. And now I've had a chance to play this game, and this is my first turn-based RPG. The reason why I never played turn-based RPG is because I never liked the you could say, the pace at which the game progressed, because I always wanted action on the screen. Always wanted to have the character involved in fighting or doing something. Here in a turn-based RPG, the action is very different. But if you ever want to pick up a game which is a turn-based RPG and you've never played this genre before, I think this is one of those games that is a perfect introduction to this genre. And I'm going to tell you why. I mean, this game is truly unique. And let's just take a look at this cutscene. and I'm going to jump into that while we finally get into the gameplay elements. So this is just like a part one of this video. This game is vast. I mean, this is so massive. I'm going to cover this game in chunks. So today's video is only going to be the introduction, and I'm only going to be talking about the character selection screen. That's all. In fact, I'm not even going to get into the character appearance editor. I am not going to be able to do that in this video. So let me give you a little bit of a background of Baldur's Gate and what really attracted me to this game. Now, first of all, I've always heard so much about Dungeons and Dragons, but I've never really had a chance to play Dungeons and Dragons. Now, with Baldur's Gate 3, if you want to know about Dungeons and Dragons, then I think this is a good entry into that franchise. Because at the end of the day, it comes from that series, it comes from that universe, so to speak. Now, the game has been developed by Larian Studios, and this is not the same studio which made the first two games, because the original Baldur's Gate was developed by BioWare and Black Isle Studio. Yes, the same BioWare studios that made Mass Effect and so many other titles which were very popular way back in those days. And this was published by Interplay Entertainment way back in 1998. Now, it of course is from the universe of Dungeons and Dragons, and that's why you had like this licensed version of Dungeons and Dragons rule set. And specifically, you could say in the Forgotten Realms setting. Then from the original title, you also had a sequel, Baldur's Gate 2, Shadows of I believe that's how you pronounce it. And you also had an expansion pack, Icewind Dale, and I believe its sequel called Planescape Torment. And then finally, you had Baldur's Gate 3 announced in 2019. So this game has been developed in development since then. And finally, in August, we've had our hands on this game, the full release version. So it's been in beta for 3 years. And what that has allowed this game to do is take a lot of user feedback, a lot of feedback from gamers, and improve their systems, improve the game overall. So the beta version, of course, differs from this full release version. So much so that I think that even the save games were not carried forward. I think you had to start from scratch, if I'm not wrong. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments section. But this is from what I've read about the beta version and the full release version. So this game is set in the Sword Coast region of the Forgotten Realms, and the events of this game are set 100 years after the Baldur's Gate 2. So, yes, it is a sequel, but there's like a time jump where you take 100 years jump, and now you work with these characters that you have, and I'm going to talk about them in a short bit. Or you could even create this custom character of yours, and you must investigate the Mind Flayer, you could say invasion of the region. Yes, Mind Flayer. When you hear of Mind Flayer these days, Stranger Things comes to your mind, but it's also because it has its roots in the original Dungeons and Dragons game that the kids play in the Stranger Things as well. Now, if you don't know who or what Mind Flayers are, then Mind Flayers, you could say, are native to the Underdark, and they kind of live in cities called Elder Brain Nests. So yes, you would have ships, or you would see a lot of pictures rather of bloody brains all around. And Mind Flayers are ultimately ruled by this being called an Elder Brain. And you have this collective consciousness going, because all the Mind Flayers kind of report or finally given to this Elder Brain. And I would say it's a cruel and a sadistic race from the race perspective. And they believe that they have the superiority element. So they are kind of this dominant species in this multiverse. That's what they believe in. And they use their psionic powers. They use their telepathic, I believe, abilities as well to control other creatures, to enslave other creatures. And they are known specifically for their taste for human brains. They have a liking for human brains. And what this also does is when they eat from human brains, it also gives them more power, I believe, and strength. So, Mind Flayers, I mean, if you have read anything about Dungeons and Dragons, then you would know that Mind Flayers are like this major threat to all the other races in Dungeons and Dragons. And they've been known for launching many invasions to the surface world, and they have enslaved many civilizations as well. But coming back to this screen, I mean, while I was talking about Mind Flayers, I got a little carried away. I kind of drifted or digressed from what I wanted to talk about. This is one of those only games that I have personally played where you have characters introducing themselves. So as you can see, and I had the opportunity to jump in or rope in right at the time when they had Shadowheart speaking, and you would immediately take a big liking to this character. So well designed, beautifully designed. In fact, the character modeling, the character designs, the character animations are absolutely stellar. The voice acting, stellar, mind-blowing. So you get to see each of these characters introduce themselves. So you get to know what their backgrounds are. And that's what's interesting. Now, post listening to all these characters, you can choose to go along with any one of them, or the choice would also be to create your own custom character. Now, that is so cool because there are so many options that you have in the character edit screen where you're literally spoiled for choice. And it's not a choice just for the sake of having a choice. It's a choice which have a lot of complications, a lot of dynamics are at play. Why? Maybe, I'll be able to cover that in my next video. Now, which class should you select? Should you select, let's say, a paladin, a bard, a cleric, a warrior, like a barbarian, a rogue? All these things we'll probably get to speak in another video. But today, I mainly wanted to cover these character introductions. And here you have Karlach as well. I mean, the character design is so cool. It is phenomenal. I mean, look at all those burnt marks and scars on the body, and even the costume. It's like very hellish. Karlach looks fantastic. And from the set characters, I think Shadowheart really has a very special place in my heart already. I've played this game for a few hours. In fact, I've played this game back and forth. I mean, when I say back and forth, starting from the beginning, because I wanted to see what consequences my choices would have in this game. And this is like a true blood RPG because your character's choices do have a big impact on your gameplay. I don't need to say that because so many of the other YouTubers have already covered on this topic, and they have spoken in a very big way about the consequences that you have when you make these choices in this particular game. But take a look at this screen and take a look at how cool it is to know about these characters from their own mouths, in their own voices. Very cinematic. And if this screen or these screens tell you anything, then it is of the quality that you can expect in the game to come. I mean, when you get into this game, you will understand the meticulous planning, designing, detailing, voice acting, and I can only imagine the amount of hours that the game developers must have spent on making this game what it is. So this is my first video on my channel, Punchi Man Gaming. I intend to make more videos on Baldur's Gate and also other games. I think there are many games coming out in August, and Mortal Kombat 1 is also right around the corner. I'm so excited for that. But for this video, I think this is going to be it. I do want to talk more about this game, but hopefully in the next video. Do let me know what you think about this video. Kindly comment below, and I would greatly appreciate it if you could hit that like and subscribe button because it helps with the YouTube algorithm, and it also helps with the algorithm when you share this video. And I commit to making more gaming videos in English and also comparison videos on my channel. So kindly stick around, kindly subscribe for more content coming your way. But it's a wrap for this video, and I'll see lovely folks in my next one. Until that time, I'll say take care, stay safe, and may God bless you all.